Hey everyone, welcome back to Cooking with TK. Today, you guys, I am going to prepare this dish here. Some red beans and rice with some cornbread. I really do enjoy red beans and rice, and my father wanted some beans, so I just decided to prepare the red beans and rice with the smoked sausage. So if you want to learn how to make red beans and rice, then let's get into this video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Cooking with TK. So the ingredients that I'm going to use to make my homemade from scratch red beans and rice is I am going to use some parboiled long grain rice. Okay. I got this big bag at Walmart, but I'm not going to use the whole bag, okay? I am going to use some chicken broth. I'm going to use 1 pound of red kidney beans. I'm going to use some chopped celery and bell peppers, some chopped onion. I'm going to use 1 stick of butter. If you don't have butter, you can use regular vegetable oil, cooking oil. I have 2 ham hocks that I have pre-cooked for 45 minutes, I'm going to use some beef smoked sausage, and I have some regular smoked sausage. So I'm going to use those 2 sausages. For my seasoning, I'm going to use black pepper, some complete seasoning, some parsley flakes, some onion powder, some paprika, some xanaren's Creole seasoning, some garlic powder. I'm going to use some chicken bouillon. This says better than bouillon. I'm also going to use that Sazon by Goya. And also by Goya, I have a little beef powder that I'm going to add. I had a half a pack left, so I'm going to throw that on there when I'm cooking my beans. Okay. This xanaren Creole seasoning has kick to it, so you don't need to add the spice. Also, it has salt, and the ham hock meat has salt. This the Sazon seasoning has salt, and the chicken broth it doesn't have no MSGs added. It's 100% natural, and I'm gonna use this juice from where I boiled my ham hock, and it has salt that come off of the ham hock. Okay, so these are the ingredients, you guys. Those are the seasonings. If you have a green onion, go ahead and chop you up a green onion as well. I'm just using what I have, okay? So, make sure you soak your beans for about 4 hours, because I'm using the dry beans. If you're using canned beans, then you don't have to soak them, okay? But this is 1 pound of kidney beans, red kidney beans. Okay, you guys, so I am going to chop my sausage into a certain size. I'm going to show you guys the size that you should cut your sausage into. That's the desired thickness that you should cut your sausage into. I am going to use both of the sausages, okay? Both of the smoked sausages. One's beef and one is regular smoked sausage, like pork. But you can use whatever sausage is desired to your taste. But these 2 types of sausages are the best for making red beans and rice. And the thickness that I'm showing you is the best and desired for making red beans and rice. Okay, so in the same pot that I boiled my ham hocks in, I just took the juice out and poured it into a bowl, because I am going to use this juice, not all of it, but the amount that I have, which is about 3 cups of the ham hock juice. So I'm going to go ahead and use this same dish, and we're going to cook everything in. First, I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons of this butter. If you don't have butter, remember you can use some olive oil, some vegetable oil, some canola oil. And I'm just using 3 tablespoons. I'm going to allow this butter to melt down. And once the butter melts down, I am going to go ahead and in turn put my vegetables in the pot to saute them. my green vegetables, the celery, the bell pepper, and the onion. We're going to get ready to saute those up with this melted butter. So once you have that butter melted, get your veggies and go ahead and pour them in there. Now, because of the amount that I'm cooking for my family, I did cut up 2 bell peppers, but usually for like a family of 4 or 5, you just cut up maybe 1 bell pepper for the amount of rice that you're going to use, okay? And I'm also going to use just 1 whole onion. And if you're gonna use celery, you make sure you just can use about 2 to 3 stalks of celery. Now these onions, and celery and bell pepper is considered to be a holy trinity. And yes, it is something that they is a Creole flavor that is used in New Orleans. I live here in Georgia and we use that as well. So trust me, you guys, you are going to want to saute these vegetables. You don't want them to be extremely cooked. You just want them to soften up just a little bit because to release that aroma and that flavor, okay? So go ahead and saute those for about 3 minutes in that 3 tablespoons of butter, and just consistently stir them for 3 minutes. You don't want to go over 3 minutes with sauteing your veggies. Now, I am going to go ahead and add some garlic. I didn't want to chop up no garlic cloves, so all I did was just squeeze in about 2 tablespoons of that minced garlic. You can use, this is the squeezable kind. You can use it out the jar if you prefer. You can go ahead and chop you up about 2 to 3 tablespoons of garlic. It's just whatever your preference is, but you need that garlic added in there. But you don't want to add it in too early because you don't want it to burn. Nobody wants to taste some burnt garlic. But go ahead and make sure that you saute the garlic, the green bell pepper, the onions, and the celery for about 3 minutes, okay? It's going to look translucent. Okay, so now we have our vegetables nice and soft, and I'm going to go ahead and throw my sausage on up in here. And remember, I use both packs. I use the beef smoked sausage, and I also used the regular smoked sausage. And those were Hillshire Farm smoked sausages, but you can use whatever type of smoked sausage that you like. Some people use that andouille sausage. Georgia boy sausage that we have here, but this recipe does cause for smoked sausage. And we're going to saute these smoked sausages right on up in here with that butter and the vegetables for our red beans. And okay, so go ahead and mix this in together, you guys. And you just want to stir it in for a few minutes to try and get that little flavor to your sausages. To me, I like a little, it's like a little crust when you put it in a skillet and cook it, and it gives that flavor to the sausage. We're not going to burn them, but we just want a little, it's going to release some oil into here as well that will be needed, to help flavor up our kidney beans, our red kidney beans, for our red beans and rice. While they're cooking, that fat will be released from that sausage. And my, oh my, oh my, does it add flavor to these beans. Everything that we're using is layering on flavor after flavor. Trust and believe you me. Follow the recipe the exact way that I'm telling you to, and it will turn out just fine. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding my liquids back into my pot. So this is about 2 cups of that salted pork meat juice. And we're going to use just 2 to 3 cups of that, okay? Because we're going to add the chicken broth to the beans, okay? And remember, taste the juice because some ham hocks are a little more salty than other, ham hocks. So let's go ahead and let's try and make sure that you taste it, okay? If you have some chicken broth that has salt in it, try to cut back on that ham hock because you don't want your stuff to be too salty. So I'm gonna add my ham hock back to the pot. I made a little splash. Y'all be careful. Don't drop it in there the way I did and make a splash because I had to wipe all that up, you know. And so now I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and stir that up. And we are going to go ahead and get ready to add in that chicken broth. Okay. So I used majority of it. I think it may have been like a half a cup left of this chicken broth, and I think this is 1 quart. So it was about a cup of that chicken broth left. So yeah, go ahead and get you some chicken broth, whatever type of chicken broth you got, you know. So we have placed our chicken broth in there, and we're gonna place our beans after we drain them. And this is 1 pound of dry beans, okay? Dry red kidney beans. If you want to use the beans in the can, then you can. They won't have to soak. I wish that is something that I should have had, but I didn't, so I had to use the beans that I got. And we are going to mix this in, okay, in our juices. And then we're going to get ready to go ahead and get our seasonings closer after we get all of our beans submerged into the liquid, okay? So now we have all of our seasons closer. I am going to use about 1 tablespoon, if you're using a measuring cup, of the chicken bouillon, okay? Chicken better than bouillon. If you have 2 bouillon cubes, you can go ahead and use those 2 bouillon cubes to for the flavor. Trust me, you don't want to miss that step on using those chicken bouillons to make your red beans and rice, Louisiana style. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add this half a pack of beef flavored seasoning I have. Now this is optional. I just had it and I decided that I wanted to use it. So you don't have to go out and buy this. If you have it, then you can go ahead and use a half pack. Trust me, it adds depth to the flavor. Depth to the flavor. And that's what you're looking for, some flavor. Because if you're going to use plain water, you need to add flavor to it. You don't want it to be tasting like water, because sometimes when you use water instead of chicken stock or beef broth or something, it will have an undesirable taste when cooking beans. So I'm going to use 1 pack of the Sazon seasoning. Now you can buy a whole box of Sazon seasoning from the Dollar Tree for $1. And I suggest that you just keep some Sazon at your house, you know. But if you don't have it, fine. Use whatever other Creole seasonings that you have at home. If you have some crab boil instead of the Sazon, you can use that, you know. So now I'm going to go ahead and start adding in. I want to add in this onion powder properly. Y'all, but it wasn't coming out. Can you see this? I was having a hard time with that onion powder, and I don't know why. It was only about 1.5 tablespoons of onion powder left, and I needed 2 tablespoons. You see how it just flopped on in there for me? But that's fine. Now I know I got to go to the store and get me some more onion powder. But when I tell you that all these flavors added together made this delicious, it did. So then I added me some black pepper. And what I'm going to tell you guys about this is you're going to use about 2 tablespoons of each seasoning if you're making the amount that I'm making. Okay? And I am using complete seasoning because it has that flavor of a bay leaf in it. And you want that desired flavor. So get you some complete seasoning. I got that for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And I've used it several times. So now I'm going to add in some garlic powder. It was brand new, y'all. So I had to open it up. And yes, I'm opening it up on camera. I could edit it out, but I'm not today, okay? So go ahead and add you about 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. And I know that the xanarans and the Sazon and all that has the garlic powder in it, but go ahead and add it. Now I'm going to add this xanarans Creole seasoning. And when I tell y'all this Creole, yes, this xanarans Creole seasoning has a good kick to it, that spice. And I'm going to keep telling you that every time I use it in a video because it does. But it's a good kick, y'all. It tastes so good because, you know, sometimes when you're cooking something like this, you may want to pull that hot sauce down and throw it up in there. But you don't have to if you got that xanarans Creole seasoning, okay? And also I did put the dry parsley in there. I don't have any fresh parsley, but the dry parsley is going to do the same job that I need it to do, okay? So go ahead and add you about 2 tablespoons of that. And stir your seasoning in like I'm doing here because you want it to get around to all the beans, the whole pot, the meat. Everything is going to mesh together just fine. And yes, I'm adding paprika. And we know that this paprika doesn't have any flavor to it. It's bland. But I'm adding it because I want that color. I want a little tint of red to it. Now, yes, I did go and add butter to my beans. But that's optional. You don't have to do that. But the reason why I do it is because it helps the seasoning. It wakes up the seasoning. A lot of people don't understand that. But yes, butter helps wake up that seasoning. Okay, so now I put a lid on my pot and I brought it to a boil. I'm going to turn it down and I am going to allow it to simmer, okay? And I'm going to come back. It has cooked for about 30 minutes. I'm going to stir this, okay, you guys? You should want to check it after 30 minutes of allowing it to simmer because, you know, we're cooking this for 2 hours. 2 hours because these are the dry beans. Dry beans take longer than canned beans, okay? So you're going to come in after 30 minutes and you're going to give it a good mix. 30 to 45 minutes. Go ahead and mix that in because you want everything to cook nice and perfectly, okay? And after you give it a good stir, you're going to get ready to place the lid back on. And we're going to allow this to cook for about 30 more minutes, okay, to complete our first hour of our red kidney beans. Okay, so now our red kidney beans have cooked for our first hour. And they are tender enough for us to get ready to put those beans, as you can see here. Ooh, trust me, those juices was good, y'all. In a separate bowl or a pot. Not all of our beans. We're going to just take about a cup out. And we're going to mash these red kidney beans. That's right. We're going to mash these red kidney beans because this is going to help create that desired thickness for our red beans and rice, okay? It's going to help thicken up that gravy. So when we place these beans back in here and allow them to finish cooking for the rest of the time, it's going to thicken up all that juice and it's going to make a gravy. And how many of us love gravy? We love gravy. And that's what makes the red beans and rice so special is that taste and that flavor from the juices and those starches from the red kidney beans because that's all it is a starch and protein, you know. But it's going to make that desired taste. So now we're going to get ready and place this back in our pot with our beans that are cooking for the rest of the time that it's going to cook. Okay? And we're going to turn it down low. And we're going to allow this to simmer. And we are going to allow it to simmer with the top off. Okay? And this is going to help thicken this up. Ooh, ooh. So go ahead and do like I'm doing. Place it back in there. Every last drop, okay? Get you a spoon and go ahead and start to stir everything in this pot together, okay? Because we want to make sure that the contents from the mashed red kidney beans get to the whole pot to help thicken it up. Okay, you guys. So here is my finished product of my red beans and rice. Yes, yes, yes. And yes, I know you see that piece of cornbread back there. This is a real Southern soul food meal. It does originate in Louisiana, but we do eat it here in Georgia. And we love pinto beans in our house. I mean, pinto beans, red kidney beans, any type of beans, black eyed peas. And we do serve these dishes with rice. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Come back to my channel for another video. And please share, like. Give this video a big thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and come back to my channel for another video.